I am making an updated shark deck profile for after Supreme Darkness, just because I entirely forgot that there was a new shark monster that was in this set. That would be Hydrojet Shark. That actually makes summoning this deck's boss monster a whole lot easier. And I played Shark at my locals this past Saturday, and I ended up getting fourth place with it, where I won against Shining Sarcophagus Dark Magician. Then I lost to Brandon, where I then, after that, won against Blackwings, and then I won against a Voiceless Voice. Which, to be fair, that was just because my opponent bricked really hard game 3, and then when Sharks are able to do stuff, they can OTK. Starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Silent Angler. Silent Angler has the effect that if you control a water monster, you can summon it from your hand, but when you summon it by this effect, you cannot special summon from your monsters from your hand for the rest of the turn. And then next, I play 3 copies of Hydrojet Shark. Hydrojet Shark, all of its effects are hard ones per turns, as I believe they are. Okay, yeah. You can only use each effect of Hydrojet Shark once per turn, where you can special summon it from your hand if you control an Xyz monster. And then if it's in your graveyard, you can banish it to add an Aqua Jet spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. It's the fact that it adds a spell, that's what makes it important. Next, I play 2 copies of this deck's version of Poplar, which is Drake Shark. Drake Shark has the effect that when it's added from your deck to your hand, you can special summon it. And then, if you use it to Xyz summon a Shark Drake monster, it counts as 2 materials. And then a Shark Drake that has as material gains the effect of it can detach 2 materials, target a spell or trap your opponent controls, and attach it to it as material. And then that's pretty much all Drake Shark does. The only reason I play 2 of it instead of just 1 is just because I always seem to open one in my hand, so Then I play 1 copy of Lantern Shark. Lantern Shark has the effect that when it's summoned, you can special summon a level 3, 4, or 5 water monster that's in your hand. And then if you Xyz summon a water monster, Lantern Shark can be treated as level 3 or 5. Next, I play 3 copies of Buzzsaw Shark. Buzzsaw Shark has the effect that once per turn you can target a fish monster you control to special summon a monster from your deck with a level equal to that target. One thing I will go ahead and point out now is that if Buzzsaw Shark targets itself and your opponent Ghost Ogres it, Buzzsaw Shark doesn't summon anything because its target's no longer on the field, which means it no longer has a level. Because it has equal to that monster's level on the field. But you summon that monster in defense position, and then it cannot activate its effects that turn. And then, just like Lantern Shark, Buzzsaw Shark can be treated as level 3 or 5 for the Xyz summon of a water monster. And then, next I play 3 copies of Surfacing Big Jaws. Surfacing Big Jaws can be special summoned from your hand during a turn in which you've activated a spell card. And then when it's summoned, you can add a level 4. Or I think it can be level 3 or 5 as well. Let's see. Okay, no, it just adds a fish shark monster from your deck to your hand. And then, just like Lantern Shark and Buzzsaw Shark, you treat it as level 3 or 5 for the Xyz summon of a water Xyz monster. And then next, I play 1 copy of Crystal Shark. Crystal Shark can activate its effect from hand or graveyard as a quick effect, as I believe it's a quick effect. Okay, no, it's not a quick effect, but you can activate it from hand or grave to target a water monster on the field, have its attack, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. Obviously, because it has that effect, that means it's going to be used as an Xyz material, therefore, get around that little effect. Because if it's a material, it doesn't technically leave the field. And then, Crystal Shark can be treated as level 3 or 4 for the Xyz summon of a number monster. And then lastly, for the shark monsters, I play 3 copies of Abyss Shark. Abyss Shark can be you can activate its effect from hand as long as you control a water monster, where you can reveal it in your hand to then special summon it, and then add a level 3, 4, or 5 fish monster from your deck to your hand. And then the next battle damage your opponent takes from a number monster is doubled. But that effect doesn't normally come up, but it does sometimes. Like, if your opponent can't stop you from doing anything, then yeah, this will enable you to one shot with chaos number 32. But anyway, I really like it. Moving on to the hand traps, I play 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. This just makes it so that if you're during the main phase, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to the hand, you can discard it to make it so that for the rest of the turn, cards cannot be added from either player's main deck to the hand. Then next, I play 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler just lets you can send it from your hand to the graveyard during your opponent's main phase. Target an effect monster your opponent controls and negates effects. And unlike Droll and Lockbird, Effect Veiler is not once per turn. Effect Veiler and Imperm are the 2 hand traps in this deck that are not once per turn. All the others are. Next, I play 3 copies of Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can discard this to then be able to target that monster. And then you get to negate its effects, and if it leaves the field, then your opponent takes damage equal to that monster's attack. Or they take damage equal to the original attack. Next, I play 3 copies of Ash Blossom, just because it is still one of the strongest hand traps. Being able to say no to anything that adds from deck to hand, summons from deck, or sends from deck to grave. And then just because I mentioned it earlier, might as well put it with the hand traps. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. There are 15 hand traps in this deck, just because why not? But Imperm has the effect that you can activate from hand if you control no cards. But you target an effect monster your opponent controls and negates effects. And then if Imperm was set, it negates all spells and traps in that column when it was activated after it was set. Then for the spells, I play 1 copy of Reincarnation Unveiling Mail. I'm also thinking about taking this out of the deck. But it has the effect that it's always treated as an Armored Xyz card. Then an Xyz monster equipped with this card gains the following effects, where it can't be destroyed in battle. And then once per turn, if the card battled that turn as a quick effect, you can return 1 card equipped to this card to the hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon a Water Xyz monster, but neither of those really matter, which is why I'm thinking about taking it out. Which, if I do, this would be a 41 card deck. Currently, it's 42 cards. Because I'd either take it out or just add in another copy of the Aquajet Surface. This is the card that Hydrojet Shark adds from deck or grave. But you can activate to summon a level 4 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your hand or graveyard. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard to then target. But when you use this effect, you can't summon from the extra deck at all except for Xyz monsters, And then it has the grave effect. You can banish it, target a face-up fish, aqua, or sea serpent you control, increase its attack by 1,000 until the end of the turn. And then next, I play 3 copies of White Mirror. White Mirror lets you target a level 4 or lower fish monster that's in your graveyard. Special summon it, and then you can add a monster with the same name from your deck to your hand. And that's it for the spells. Moving on to the traps. For the traps, I play 1 copy of Gozen Match. This just makes it so that both players can only control 1 attribute of monster, and if there's more than 1 attribute on their field, then they send until they have only 1 attribute left. And that pairs with a monster in the extra deck very well. And then lastly, I play the 1 copy of Virtue Stream. Virtue Stream has the effect that you can activate it, target a fish, aqua, or sea serpent you control, and 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them. And then Virtue Stream also has the grave effect that you can banish it to target a face-up fish, aqua, or sea serpent you control. The next time that card will be destroyed by battle or card effect, it's not destroyed. And then that's it for the main deck. Like I said, the only main change I'm thinking about to the main deck is taking out the Unveiling Mail, just because the way I have the deck built currently, I can't really search it, and it doesn't really do anything besides just make it so that Shark Drake Levice can't be destroyed in battle. So moving on to the extra deck, I play 2 copies of Toad. Toad is just an Omni Negate that can also set the destroyed card, so if you use it to negate something like Triple Tactics Talent, you can then set it to your field. And then if it is sent from field to grave, you can then add any water monster in your graveyard back to your hand. Which ordinarily people would just return Toad, but what I like to do if I get both of them out is just add something else, because Toad has another purpose if it's in grave. And then next I play 1 copy of La Virtue Dragon. La Virtue Dragon has the effect that when it's special summoned, you can add Virtue Stream from your deck to your hand. And then you can detach a material to then be able to add a water monster from your graveyard back to your hand. And then its last effect is once per turn you can target 2 Xyz monsters you control and move 1 Xyz material from one to the other. Which usually I'll just use that so that La Virtue Dragon has no materials, and then I'll target La Virtue Dragon with Virtue Stream. Next I play 1 copy of number 17, Leviathan Dragon. This is mainly just in here because I have the Astral Language and I wanted to play it at least once. And I was just surprised because there were a couple instances when I was playing that making the Leviathan Dragon actually furthered what I could do. Which all it does is it just requires 2 level 3 monsters. It is a dragon, since everything is not really readable. But it has the effect that once per turn you can detach material, increase its attack by 500. However, it cannot attack directly if it doesn't have material. Its attack is 2000 with 0 defense. And then I play 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is mainly just in here because it can increase all your water monsters' attack points by 500. And then it also has the effect that you can detach material so that until the end of the turn, I can't remember if it's neither player or just your opponent. I believe it's just the opponent. Yeah, your opponent cannot activate any cards in the graveyard. And then I also play 1 copy of number 4, Stealth Kraken. Stealth Kraken is the reason why... I already forgot the trap's name. Goes in Match. This card is the reason why Goes in Match is in the deck. Because Stealth Kraken has the effect where it changes all monsters on the field to water, which is part of the reason why I was able to beat Voiceless Voice, because turns out you can't tribute low if low isn't water. Or if low isn't light. That's what I meant to say. But Stealth Kraken makes everything water, so if your opponent controls a monster and they aren't playing a water-based deck, then Goes in Match just prevents them from summoning more monsters. And then Stealth Kraken also has the main phase quick effect to destroy 1 water monster your opponent controls. This does not target. And then once it's destroyed, they take damage equal to half the attack it had on field. And then Stealth Kraken was Xyz summoned is destroyed. You can special summon Stealth Kraken spawns from your extra deck equal to the number of materials it had. And then I play 2 copies of Stealth Kraken Spawn. Stealth Kraken Spawn do the exact same thing as Stealth Kraken, except with the exception that they do not change everything to water and they do not burn. And then if Stealth Kraken Spawn was destroyed after being summoned by Stealth Kraken, then you can special summon a Stealth Kraken from your graveyard, and then it gets a material from your graveyard. So these 3 are the reason why I do not add Toad back to hand usually. Because Stealth Kraken, if Toad's in the graveyard and Stealth Kraken can summon these and attach material, each one gets a Toad. And then when these die, Toad's effect will re-trigger, which I think is hilarious. And then next I play 2 copies of Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark has the effect that once per turn you can detach material to then special summon a 1 level 3 or rank 3 or lower water Xyz from your extra deck. However, it cannot attack for the rest of the turn, which there's a 2-card combo this deck that gets you 2 Bahamut Sharks, or 2 Bahamut Sharks. It gets you 2 Toads and a Draco Future. Speaking of, I play one copy of Future Number Zero, Utopic Future. Utopic Future it doesn't really matter what it does because it's only here for Future Number Zero, Utopic Draco Future. Draco Future can be XD summoned by using a Utopic Future you control. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can detach material, negate that effect, and then if that monster was on the field, you can take control of it. And then lastly for the deck, I play one copy of number 32 Shark Drake. Shark Drake, usually I play two copies of Shark Drake in this deck, but I wanted to play Leviathan Dragon just because I thought it'd be funny. But Shark Drake has the effect that when it destroys a monster in battle, you can detach material, summon the destroyed monster back to your opponent's field with 1,000 less attack, and then Shark Drake can attack again. Then I play one copy of Chaos number 32, Shark Drake Vice. This is honestly only in here for a stepping stone, so that Chaos number 32, Shark Drake Vice has one additional material. But Shark Drake Vice is the big boss monster of this deck. It has the quick effect of being able to detach material, target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects and reduce its attack and defense to 0. It does piercing, and then it can attack twice during each battle phase. And then the biggest this can get in this deck is 4,600, because you can gain 500 from Abyss Dweller, and then additional 1,000 from Aquajet Surface. But one of the things you can do is, if you can get this to be over 4,000, and use its effect in the same turn that you've used Abyss Shark, then if its attack is able to go through and inflict damage, it will do 8,200 points of damage, which I think is hilarious. But that is it for my Shark deck profile that I came in 4th place with at Locals. If you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas for decks like to see be made in the future, or decks like to see face each other, feel free to comment down below. I always read the comments. And I will go ahead and say one thing. I do know most people use the full armor engine in this deck. I personally don't really care for the full armored cards. So that's why I'm not playing them. But if you have a comment, feel free to leave it. I always read them. Thank you for watching.